Welcome to the final part of today's lesson, which deals with branding and positioning and also strategies for competitive advantage. The first question we have to ask ourselves is, what is a brand and what is it all about? It's all about the logo, the pack design, the livery and the external fascia of a brand, which means how can we recognize it. So if you think about Kellogg's, it's got distinctive box, it's got distinctive writing, distinctive so-called signage, and you know that when you go to a shelf, what is Kellogg's and what is another brand. But it's not just about that. It's not just about the product that is available in the shop or the shop window. It's also about research and development, how modern your production facilities are, so how innovative you are at the end of the day as well, and how quickly you can design a product, and also how well integrated your logistics systems are. So how quickly do you get your product from your production to your end customer. If you're very fast, your image is obviously very good, your brand image is very good, and it helps to establish a very good and solid brand image. If it's very slow and very antiquated, obviously your customers see you as maybe a bit of outdated and antiquated brand as well. And the brand image is also about any social, psychological or physical aspects of the brand. Some people have brand preferences, some people don't really mind what brand they buy, but you've got luxury brands and then you've got the mass market brands as well. Psychological, as maybe you had a bad experience with a brand, you've bought one product and it wasn't that good, and then you bought another one and that's much better. Or maybe it's pricing as well. We talked about psychological pricing before. And physical, obviously, how does it feel? What does it look like? How do you get on with the brand as well? What is the meaning of a brand? Sorry, it gives you insight about culture, obviously the readiness for a brand, and also the attitude, and it's therefore a brand. And what you have to remember is it also gives you insight about the source of equity. So the value comes from the customer. Are we actually prepared to pay this money? Is it actually worth this much? Is the brand actually worth the money that we're spending on it? Is it worth buying it? Do we value the brand, or would we prefer to buy something else? And then then also it's all about an insight about the means to affect the growth of this certain brand or equity. So again, it all comes in with the service, and how do we perceive the service, and is it do customers actually want to buy it? And this one thing you have to remember, that not all brands and not all branding works the same in different countries or different cultures. And not all branding approaches work. There have been brandings that have gone absolutely wrong, and this is because some brands don't work, or some colours don't work in certain cultures and countries. Maybe certain marketing campaigns don't work in certain countries and cultures. Does a culture prefer pictures? Do they prefer words? Does your message translate into a different language, or doesn't it translate into a different language? And one of the things is, for example, if you bring a European brand into the Asian market, you have to change your marketing approach drastically because of their values and their beliefs, and as to how you can actually bring a brand over, rather than using pictures that don't mean anything to them. You might have to use colours and words to sell your brand. The other example also is something like Disney. When they brought Disney World or Euro Disney to France, a lot of the American approach didn't work in France, because the French are very proud of their culture, they're very proud of the way they work, and the usage of their own language, and they didn't like this American culture, this American theme park and work ethics as well. And this is why when Euro Disney, what it was then called, opened in the 90s, it almost failed again, and Disney had to change its whole approach as to how to implement the Disney product into France and eventually make it a successful business. And this is the same with McDonald's in France. I think a lot of the dishes, they've got the French names rather than the American names, and so when you're bringing a brand into a new market, you have to be very, very aware of people's values, beliefs and culture, and how they perceive certain things as well. You then have tangible and intangible added value. So, for example, one of the things is when do you have luxury carrier bags? You go into a supermarket and you get your normal, or used to get your normal free bag, or you get a bit better, sturdier one, which is nicer. Or how do you wrap clothes? I mean, I went to Monsoon and they gave me tissue paper and wrapped it really nicely, which means I don't really need to wrap my clothes into those clothes that are present into wrapping paper now. Customer service and attention. How good is the customer service? Is it just annoying? Are they just or how much attention are they giving you? Are they just asking you, "Can I help you?" Which is a stupid question anyway, because you normally then just say no, I'm browsing. But how well is this, and how well does a certain retail outlet help you when you have problems? It's also about the environment. Are they environmentally aware brand? What's the shopping environment like as well? And what is the information like that you get? There is, for example, also the attraction of the deal, for example, free gifts or promotion, and those with money can actually afford to ignore these promotions, whereas older people or also people who don't have as much money, they obviously would go for this promotion. And older people also are more loyal to a brand, and people who can't afford that many, maybe necessarily brand food or brand clothing, they look for discounts. And because these people with a lot of money can actually afford to ignore promotions, premium brands don't need to use as many promotions as maybe the mass market brands. There are quite a few benefits of a strong brand, obviously, and you have to consider this when you're working on your assignment. And they include the time it takes to market the new products, which means it's a faster time to market with the new products. So a strong brand, from, again, as I said, from production to actually marketing and selling, it takes very, very fast, and this is where you have a strong brand. Also, the barrier to competitor entry, the stronger your brand, the higher the barrier for your competitors is, the better your market share and the better your visibility on the market is as well. It's also easier to forecast repeat purchase, because you have a strong brand and you know people are going to buy it. There are increased price possibilities. There's a reduction in launch and marketing costs, because people know your brand, they buy your brand, so you don't have to market as intensively maybe as some other people would have to. There's commitment from all stakeholders, and also it signifies a particular type of culture which provides clear signs about beliefs, attitudes and behavior, so you understand the culture of your brand, you understand the culture of your customer, you understand how they think, how they work and what they want. And also it acts as a guarantee to customers regarding quality promises. It's a strong brand, people buy it and they know it's of good quality. Brand loyalty has to do with three main points from the side of the customer. The first one is the brand attitude. People feel positively towards the brand. Then the brand preference, they buy the brand more than they buy other brands, and the brand allegiance, which they continue to buy the brand over long periods of time. And I'm sure you've got some preferred brands for, I don't know, for cereal, for toothpaste, for shampoo maybe as well, chocolate, I don't know, and you know that you're loyal to some certain brands. And people are mainly concerned with results, so reliability and durability over time, access as well. You know, how easily is the product available, and how easy is it to purchase? And then the other questions you have to ask yourself when you're establishing a brand is: do they use your product or packaging for something else? And have they had an emotionally bad experience which causes them to avoid your product? So again, you know, if all of a sudden people switch brands, why do they do that? Why don't they buy your brand anymore? Why do they buy someone else's? Have you put up your price maybe? Or don't they like the way you've changed your imaging, your writing, and the exterior, the what you first see on the packaging? Don't they like the packaging anymore? And then it all comes down to brand positioning as well. Where do you position yourself? And again, this is what you have to consider for your chosen brand when you, or for your chosen organization when you talk about the branding. Obviously, you can have the full range of facilities and limited facilities. You can be away from the city centre, away from the centre. This is with regards to hospitality. Or you can be centrally located. If you think of, for example, full range of facilities and centrally located, you have the Hilton Ramada. Limited facilities and centrally located is, you know, anyone's bed and breakfast or self-catering. And away from the centre and limited facilities is Quality Inn. And there are hardly any, if you think of hospitality, away from centre and full range of facilities. There are not a lot of hospitality services that will actually offer this kind of service. Then you have to, you know, what messages do you want to bring across when you position yourselves? Obviously, you talk about your brand values. What does your brand stand for? What symbols are you using? How are you selling yourself? Are you selling yourself as fair trade, maybe, environmentally friendly, recycle, family? So who do you want to attract as well? You have to have quality statements, so something people identify with as well. People like stories, so if you use case histories, that's great. A lot of people like stories, and they like success stories as well. Obviously, again, it all comes down to expertise and qualifications. We talked about that in previous lessons as well. Research and supporting evidence. You know, how do you know that your product is better than someone else's, or that it actually has the results? Why should people choose your product over someone else's? And then you have to bring across the benefits of why people should choose your product and over someone else's, even though your product might be a bit more expensive. It might be more in the luxury range. Now, what you can do with that information is you can recruit customers you want, obviously using the appropriate messages, appropriate and relevant as well. You can design more appropriate services and goods, and you can talk with your customers in more relevant, interesting and enjoyable ways at the right time and in the right tone and language. So again, you know, you have to know, and you will know when to talk to your customers, what the message is, and how to bring it across to them, which then means that you can sell more to the customer and keep them happy for longer, and keep them for longer as well. And this is where always, again, it all comes down to the customer, because they can make and break your product as well. How do we achieve it? Differentiation. So do you have different products, do you go into new markets? Product attributes, you know, tell us, what is your product, why is your product so great? Segmentation. Do you have different products with different social segments as well within the market? Do you sell to young people, to families, and then to the older generation as well? Price and quality. Do you have a high price and a high quality? Do you have a high price and do you have a low price and a high quality? So where do you position yourself in the market? Again, benefiting messages, competitor positioning. So compare yourself to the competitors. Do you position yourself in the same range, or do you position yourself somewhere else? Unique selling point. What makes your product so great, so much better than your competitor's product? And then again, you talk about your branding. Make sure that your branding sticks in people's heads and that they recognize your brand. And then brand evaluation. How do you measure goodwill of your earning potential? Who's your customer base? Who are they? Who buys your product? Projected sales. Again, past history, case studies. Where were you 10 years ago? Where are you now? How are you faring in the stock market? How have you been doing? Where do you see yourself in the stock market? Reduction in marketing costs. So again, the better, the stronger your brand, the lower your marketing costs, because people know you and they buy your brand. Extension opportunities and also licensing opportunities. So is it a trademark? Is it a registered license? What can you do with your brand there as well to avoid other people using your brand as well. And then you've got brand awareness, recall or differentiation. So do you advertising can stimulate demand for competing products. Then you've got consumer brands. You've got for example, Hoover there as well. And then you use your package design, and the 4 Ps are very important in this aspect as well. What brands do you have got there? You've got luxury brands, celebrity, quality, jet set, lifestyle brands. So again, different things, and they speak to different people as well, and to different markets. And the last thing I'd just like to go into is, obviously, you want to gain a competitive advantage. You want to be better than your competitors. You want to have, a strong position in the market. And the problem is that the market gets more crowded, and so it's important that you have a clear strategy about how to attack or you defend yourself against the competition. As a market leader, you have to innovate with new products, spend time on research and development, and have a reputation for quality in the marketplace. It would be hard for an unknown organization to then enter your market because of the capital investment that is required to make their brand better than yours. And the question then is, I would see you as a cost leader in the marketing business. Is that the case? So if you've got a strong brand, someone new tries to come in there, obviously they need to try and push you out of the market as well. And if you want some examples, like companies like Rolls-Royce have a small market segment, and Aston Martin does as well, and this would be called a focus strategy because they focus on a certain customer basis. Other companies differentiate their products in a crowded market by offering additional warranties or by using marketing activities such as sales promotions or such as free trips to Disneyland. So what you need to do, obviously, is so that you do not get stuck in the middle, or if you are stuck in the middle, or if you reckon your organization you are actually investigating for your assessment, you think they are stuck in the middle, you have to see how can they actually have a focus, gain cost leadership, or differentiate themselves from their competitors.